you. Good afternoon and welcome back to the Pacific Indoor Bowls Club here in Vancouver, British Columbia, for the final match of the group stage of the men's competition here at the Canadian Indoor Qualifiers. I'm Bill Curry, along with Shane O'Flaherty. I'm glad to have you aboard this afternoon for what's been so far an excellent day of world-class bowls.
Yeah, we're looking at some really tight matches, and there's a lot on the line in multiple matches here in this final round. And uh, the match we're covering, Pat Bird against Alan Was, is the battle for first and second place. And there's a lot of advantage of getting that first place in your group. You go straight to the semi-final, don't have to play the quarterfinal at all.
Yeah, if you are one of the top performers, you get that buy into the semifinal, and that's certainly one of the things that could be on the line this afternoon. It's going to be quite a good feature match. Pat Bird, of course, national ranked bowler, has bowled internationally for Canada, coming to us from Calgary, Alberta, and is no stranger to these parts. Alan Wass, of course, is a local bowler here in the PIBC and also with the Dunbar Lawn Bowling Club. And Alan is absolutely he's not only one of the good gentlemen of the game, but he's such a keen student of the game as well. If you come here to PIBC often, you see him in really disciplined practice routines, and he is worked hard to turn himself into the top-notch bowler that gets him into this situation today.
Yeah, Alan's one of those guys when you play him, he is so accurate. He is just methodical in how he plays the game, and he looks for the angles, he looks for everything. He's a very precise draw bowler, but has a very strong upweight game. Pat, on the other hand, is just your complete bowler. He's been there, done that. He's, been one of the best bowlers in Canada for a very, very long time, and there's a reason for that. He's just sort of pure class.
And the bowlers are just completing their trial bowls right now. We had a great morning of women's bowling here at the Canadian Indoor Qualifiers, bringing you a thrilling round five match between Jan Robinson of Alberta and Vivian Chen of BC. Jan Robinson coming out on top in really dramatic fashion. It was one of the best matches that we've seen in a long time, and also worth seeing in the archive of Bowls Canada, because once again, if you want a great bowls match, that's as good as you're going to get. And then in our quarterfinal match, Linda Ing, who is well known in Canadian and international bowling circles, prevailed over Pat Binney of Ontario with in two straight sets, but it certainly didn't come easy for her.
Yeah, so we've told the boys that the challenge has been laid down. The women were outstanding this morning, and been outstanding this week. Now the pressure's on for us to see, just as good bowls, if not better, from the men. And I feel like, this one, these two players, being first and second in the group, they're both in fine form. They've both won 3 out of their 4 matches and have lost one. And so, they're probably both likely to still go through to either the quarterfinal or semi-final, but there's a chance if they have a bad game that they could fall out of contention because there are other players close by.
Yep. Every match in these group stages really goes a long way and counts. It's one of those situations where even one lost match can put you in a position where you could be on the outside looking in.
Yeah, and so in terms of the other matches that we've got, we'll try and keep you updated on how they're going, and the other battles that we have on on the right hand side of the PIBC. We have on Green Rig 6, Mike McNaughton, the defending champion, is playing against Darragh Winoski. Mike's leading the group at the moment, but there is a lot of room for movement in the lower positions. And then on Rink 5, we have Earl Luck from BC is playing Heng Lee from Ontario. And then across another matches on the other side, we have Gerald Chudrick from Manitoba is playing Nathan Finlay from Alberta. Jim DeHoki is playing from BC is playing David Llewellyn from Ontario. And then in our final match, Jerome Kirby's up against Michael O'Connor. Jerome from Manitoba, Michael from Saskatchewan.
Just a sensational slate of bowlers that we have for this tournament, all of them competing for the one opportunity to represent Canada at the World Indoor Championships in 2026. And, it could be any one of these gentlemen on the greens at the moment.
Yeah, and so for the last couple of championships, it's been Mike and Linda who've been representing Canada, and they've done very well. And so there's, uh, whether it's them again or whether it's somebody else, I'm sure we're going to have a quality bowler representing us on both the men's and women's side.
Our feature match here between Pat Bird and Alan Wass should be. It really is setting up. It on paper, this could be one of the better matches of the group stage.
Yeah, and their group is such a strong group. I think any one of the players in that group could be could be a worthy champion. And so with Alan, what we're going to see is Alan is Mr. Precise. He will load heads, and he will be consistent and just keep on nagging at you. Um, Pat, on the other hand, I think while he's a superb draw bowler, he's more likely to be sort of disturbing the head and trying to put Alan off his game. And so it'll be an interesting battle to see who can get the better of the other.
So while Alan Wass is, of course, very, very familiar with these greens here at PIBC, Pat Bird is no stranger to them as well, making it all the way to the semifinals of the Pacific Coast Open that happened just a few weeks ago back in September and put on a very, very solid performance.
Yeah, Pat's been here for, well, as long as I've been lawn bowling, Pat's been here and he's been sort of performing sort of very, very well in this tournament. So I think this is almost like a second home for him. He's spent so much time here, played so many championships here.
And that's one of the amazing parts about all of the out of town bowlers. I mean, there's over 20 lawn bowling clubs here in the lower mainland of Vancouver alone. But when the players make the adjustment from going from the outdoor game to the indoor game, usually takes a few weeks for even the top players to get there. And it for these folks to just come in from out of town and just being the top quality bowlers that they are, they take almost no time to adjust, even though they're coming from very different conditions.
Yeah, and I think the one upside of here is that it is such a the greens are so predictable and they've got a great sort of speed to them that once you make that adjustment, you can just start playing your game and really just concentrate on that. So good start from Pat, first up there, just getting sort of nicely just in behind.
Yeah, Pat Bird will be bowling with the Aero Defiance, the blue Aero Defiance. Meanwhile, Alan Wass will have the green Henselite Tiger Pros. And Pat Bird with his second bowl here of this first end, scheduled for two sets of 7 ends each. Winning both sets or winning one and drawing one will win you the match. And if both players win a set or if both players tie the sets, they will go to extra ends.
So yeah, there's still plenty of room in this head. It's open.
This is the third of four matches we'll be bringing to you today. You can continue to tune in a little later this afternoon when some of these players will jump right into the quarterfinal round of the Canadian Indoor Qualifiers. And you can find that match right here on the Bowls Canada YouTube channel.
So yeah, Alan's been consistent with both his bowls. He's just a yard through on both. So he'll just be looking to make that adjustment. His line's been okay. So if he could just make that 1 yard adjustment, he'll be trying to draw inside that one of Pat's there.
And Alan Wass, his third bowl. Lots behind the jack so far. And he'll just join that cluster and and we just had a little bit of a technical problem there with our overhead camera. We apologize for that.
I think Pat was trying to get a little bit of coverage there by getting in amongst Alan's bowls, but just fallen short.
Here's Alan's final bowl of this first end. This one has a chance to rest up, and it does. And that sets up an early pressure shot for Pat Bird here.
I think that's it. Good shot for Alan.
It looks to be two. They'll check to see maybe if it's more than. They're going to measure it all together.
Yeah, so I think at least one to Alan, and this will determine the second shot.
No, and we're going to double check this with Pat Bird as well. And looks like they come up with two. So a good start for Alan Wass here in the opening end of this first set.
Yeah, he'll be very happy with that after being down several before that last bowl. He did a great job to salvage it and even turn it into a two. On the green next to them, it's luck against Heng Lee. These two gentlemen should know each other reasonably well. Heng formerly bowled out of the Richmond Lawn Bowling Club that Earl's a member at. Heng now resides in Ontario. we miss him. We're glad to see him and Gary back for this tournament.
Oh, Pat Bird once again showing he's always been a very high information bowler, especially in singles play. He's always interested in the exact position of the jack, the exact position of bulls in relation to the jack, and you can expect him to ask his marker a lot of questions in this.
Yeah, I think Alan falls probably both gentlemen fall into that same category in terms of asking a lot of questions. The the marker for today's match is Meryl Lawrence. She's from West Vancouver Lawn Bowling Club. Uh, Meryl is well equipped to answer any questions.
Yeah, the markers in this tournament have been top notch all around.
And Meryl's also likely to give you a bit of a laugh as well. She's a fun person to have out on the greens.
Alan Wass joining him in the back there. Thank you. How far, Brendan? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so Alan will be looking to add to the count, but also he'll be wanting to make sure he doesn't create a target for Pat.
And two strong bowls in this end so far from Alan Wass. Which one? You never call out.
So Pat's looking like he's going to play weight here. He's just waiting for some movement to stop behind the head.
And here comes the heat.
Oh, unfortunately, the heat was lukewarm, but uh, he'll get another go at it.
So knowing the intent from that last shot, you're Alan Wass, are you trying to throw something up in front there, or are you going to try and drop another one?
Yeah, I think he's not going to want to add to that head. He's either going to want to put something a little bit in, a meter or so in front. He could still do that and still have it count as a shot, or alternatively put something in behind.
And he chooses to go towards the back, and you won't be able to see it here, but here you'll see it. He is almost just about 6 inches off the tee. So he's given himself a little bit of defense if Pat Bird wants to take another run at that jack.
Yeah, and both players are very strategic and very thoughtful in their games, and so Joe Allen just making a smart conservative sort of move to get the tee there.
What you like is, as always, Pat Bird taking this in stride, having a chuckle with Alan as he wanders towards to take his last bowl. And Pat Bird making his intent clear.
Yeah, so I think he said he's not firing, but he might just be playing a little bit of sort of a heavy draw shot this time.
And that is indeed the case. Will this have enough right idea, but looks to have still conceded two here.
He's got 30 seconds for that to fall over. Even if it does, I don't think it's going to matter. Yeah,
And it doesn't, as Alan
yeah.
Moss picks up another two to add to his lead, and he is up 4-0 after two ends. But lots of bowls to be played here.
Yeah, I think if I was 4-0 up on Pat Bird after two ends, I'd be sort of, um, hoping for, that I could just declare and just say, okay, that's enough. Can we just stop now? We do have a little bit of a leak on one of the greens, you know, if we were playing on that green, then I'd be hoping for that to burst forth, and we'd have to stop the match.
Yeah, we do see a couple of buckets out by the end of rink one, which is once again a reminder that PIBC has put together a roofing fund here in order to replace the roof for the long term. But that is years away, and today is a day that that needs to be the roof needs to work today.
We do have the joy of having the lovely gymnasts above us, and some days that noise is deafening. It's not too much activity today yet. We keep on trying to go upstairs and get the young gymnasts to come down and give lawn bowling a try and give up some gymnastics, but with very little success.
Yes, for those who are unaware, the Pacific Indoor Bowling Club is in the basement part of this building at Hillcrest Park in Vancouver, and it kind of resembles like a large warehouse, as you can see from the girders and the steel and what have you. And the floor above us is taken up by the Phoenix Gymnastics Club, a very long-standing gymnastics club in the city, and it causes some interesting vibrations when they start to tumble and twirl.
Yeah, who would have thought such little bodies could make so much noise?
Well, Alan Wass has been making all the noise so far in this match, holding two at the moment. Pat Bird trying to find an early answer here.
Yeah, I think and this is how Alan plays. He's very similar to what we saw from Linda Ing in our previous matches. That um, he just keeps on peppering the jack. He keeps on getting stuff in close there, and he challenges you to do better.
We are in the third end of this opening set, scheduled for seven. And once again, Alan Wass being very strategic, wanting to own that back tee, trying to eliminate some of the options for Pat Bird here. This bird's third shot. This one's coming in a bit better. Nicely done. Right on the jack and raises right into his own bowl in the back. And that's the stuff we're used to seeing from Pat.
Yep, he does that so well, and he had just the right amount of weight to it. You didn't want to go too hard on the weight. He's just pushed it beautifully back to his back bowl there. He does that in his sleep, I think.
And we talk a bit about Pat Bird, the player. It's also Pat Bird, the coach and mentor of so much of the young talent that's coming out of the Calgary lawn bowling scene these days, and seeing it on display here, especially on the women's side. Joanna Cooper, of course, and and Pat Robinson, who we saw earlier today. Uh, both fantastic bowlers. Jan Robinson, I apologize. My apologies. I just blanked for a second.
Yeah, and I think the Calgary club. I sort of follow them on social media, and it's a beautiful looking club. I hope to pop in there at some stage and give those greens a try. So it looks like it's a beautiful venue.
That bird holding one here. I think there might be an opportunity to either raise or draw around that forehand side.
Yeah, of course, with Pep being a left-hander, the angles are a little different for him than for the right-handers.
That is true. This one is going to be safely short. And Pat Bird is on the board in this match.
Across in the other matches, on the greens on this side, currently after two ends, Earl is leading Hing 2-0. Mike is leading Daryl 5-0 after three ends.
And we have three ends in the books here. Alan Wass with the 4-1 lead. Jack just about 2 meters and some change in front of the tee line. Or I should say a meter. And Alan Wass coming in just misses the jack, but it will hang in there for shot.
Yeah, it's a reasonable start by both bowlers.
Pat Bird, quick to follow up here.
So he adjusted the weight nicely, but just kept it out too wide, unfortunately.
all of the rinks in action at the moment. Bowlers need to be cognizant what's happening on the other rinks around them. Is bowls often have to carry into the other rinks in order to find their way to the middle.
It's true, yes.
That's looking good for Pat. And gets the flop at the end. And this one could bend for Allen here. It does, and just gently bumps in. That is a finesse shot as they come.
Yep, he got just the right rub from Pat's shop bowl there. Across the other greens, the match between Michael O'Connor and Jerome Kirby. Jerome is leading 5-4 after 6 ends. David Llewellyn against Jim Tahoki. Jim is leading 7-0 after 3 ends. And they're just adjusting the score in the match between Gerald and Nathan. Just can't quite see it. They're still doing a measure there.
It's like Pat was trying to duplicate Alan Moss's shot. Unfortunately, hit it too solid.
Yeah, so Alan will want to be very delicate coming in here.
There's definitely a slightly high risk, high return shot available here if he can bump that jack. He's got that idea in a sense. Oh, but he duplicates his shot and lays two. That is a beautiful, beautiful performance by Alan Moss.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if there's many better players, certainly in this province and possibly anywhere in indoor who do that better than Alan. He's very good at converting shots like that.
So 6-1 after 4 ends here in the first set. And certainly a strong performance so far from Alan, but as we've seen before, it's usually just a matter of time before Pat Bird finds its game.
Yeah, I think the thing we're finding in this tournament is that, there's such a high quality of player that it's seldom that somebody gets too far away without the other one putting in a bit of a fight and dragging themselves back into it.
Of course, there are 2 sets to be played in this match, so lots of time to come back.
The one match I didn't get to do the update on, Nathan is leading 5-3 over Gerald after 5 ends.
Didn't seem overly pleased with that delivery and understand why.
Yeah, so both of these gentlemen better in those first two bowls. I'm sure they'll be getting stuff in closer as we progress through this end. Yeah.
And Bird just off the jack. Nice shot.
So yeah, it's a couple of loose ones to start with, but then much better bowls from both of them.
And Voss almost takes the jack. Just an inch off.
Yeah, Petter will be probably trying to just get onto that jack himself, but he's not looking happy with this one. Let's have a look.
This one's not going to do it either. And here's an opportunity for Pat to pick up a second here.
Yeah, I think Alan was having a good chat to that bowl, but bowls never listen to you.
There is a bowler here named Jerome Kirby who would tell you different.
Yeah, Jerome might be the exception. Yeah, he does. He doesn't talk to them. He sweet talks to them. He's the bowls whisperer. Speaking of which, Jerome and Michael have split that first set. Tied first set.
And Hatford has picked up a single here in the fifth end and has narrowed the gap a little bit. Alan was still in charge 6-4.
Yeah, so Alan's just got to say to himself, I just need to win this end. And puts it out of reach for the final end.
That's going to try and switch it up a little bit, moving the mat up, shortening the distance of the ring. All the way to the tee line. And that's the start that Pat needed.
Yeah, very good start from Pat. Puts the pressure on straight away.
Sixth end, so Bert needs to win this end in order to continue on in the set. Otherwise, the score will be out of reach for the seventh end, and I'll go straight into the second set. And Alan Wass, look at that, right onto the jack.
Yeah, superb from Alan, and that's who he is as a bowler. He's just so accurate.
And fine response from Pat Bird, but even a great shot like that is not enough right now.
Yeah, I think the thing is that he's framed sort of Alan's bowl in there. If I was Alan, I'd be already getting something in behind because I think Pat will be tempted to play a bit of weight onto Alan's shot. I don't think that one quite went as far as Alan would have liked.
Yeah. What was interesting about Alan's bowl was his question to the marker prior to. He was really interested to know which one of Pat Bird's bowls was the second bowl.
So Pat just trying to play the bad hit. He's not looking excited, but I think it's close.
He might get something. Oh, he just gets his own, unfortunately. But on the plus side, Alan no longer has to wonder which one is second bowl.
Takes away any of that mystery. Yeah, that's a good spot. Of course, another match has Earls leading 4-1 against Heng. Mike McNaughton is leading 6-1 against Darrell.
So that bird needs to be holding here to keep the set going. Lots of weight. He's on target. And will does it roll for him?
No,
Doesn't look to be the case.
just visually, it's looking like two shots down at the moment, I think.
And if it's two shots down, this is pretty academic for Allen. And we'll see if he even takes the shot here.
Yeah, well, one thing I'll say about Allen is he's usually a pretty brave bowler. He will take shots. He's always thinking ahead in terms of like, maybe those shots will count for something.
Oh, complete the end and keep the momentum going. He's coming in with a fair amount of weight on this, and he's actually trying to make a shot here. And oh, look at this. Didn't need to do it, but he did it.
Yeah, I think sometimes Alan he can be a little bit of a heart attack bowler because he will do stuff like that, and I'm not sure if it's actually worked. It may be three.
But just just the fact that Alan's still going to measure this off. No, it's we are still in the group stage, so there is still point differential that you do need to be concerned about. So I think they're probably going to play out this seventh end.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And it looks like it's possibly three, and he's now probably measuring for the fourth.
Well, we switched from group stage to quarterfinals back to group stage, and so it's a bit of a whipsaw.
Yep, so it looks like Pat's taking a bit of a break.
Yeah, and Alan has Alan is signal two, so it's academic that Alan Wass has won the first set, but they will finish off the seventh end before starting the next set.
Yeah, and from the women's draw earlier, Zoe Chan missed out on uh, qualifying by two shots, so it really can have a big impact. So yeah, it's definitely worth doing that.
Just taking a brief break before we move on to the seventh end of this final group stage match.
Yeah, so we'll go around the greens. Looks like Nathan Finley from Alberta has won his first set against Gerald. Just started the first end of the second set. Jim DeHoki is 9-5 up after six ends in the first set. Jerome and Michael O'Connor split the first set, and Michael's leading 3-2 in the second set after two ends. It's 5-1 to Earl Luck over Hing Lee, and Mike McNaughton is leading Daryl Husky 6-2 after six.
And our seventh end of the first set is underway. Alan Wass up 8-2. And still set like this, an end like this, an opportunity for Pat Bird to start finding his game and getting some momentum going for the second round.
Yeah, and it's not like Pat's been playing poorly. Alan's just been um, incredibly precise and has made a couple of crucial shots, but 8-6 doesn't really reflect sort of totality of what's been going on out there.
And a good opener from Pat there.
Good response from Alan.
All quite symmetrical on their line so far.
Let's see
Coming in.
if Pat can keep that going.
And a nice shot there from Pat.
Yeah, so I think Ellen will take this as a chance just to practice maybe a little, just playing just a heavy draw shot and try and knock Pat off his shot position there.
Mm. One of the things that we saw from Alan is sort of a trademark of him. We talk about him as being a finesse precision bowler, but at the same time, every time I've seen Alan have an opportunity where he could take a second point or a third point, he'll go for it.
Yeah, yeah, he's got no fear. He really does always throw everything he's got at stuff. And that one wasn't too far from the mark.
So looking at one and a measure for Pat Bird at the moment, maybe it's no, actually it's just the one. Of course, that Alan Wasp bull up in the front on the left-hand side would be second.
Let's see what Pat does here. So having a go at that toe bowl of Allen's.
He's going to have a go at the jack here, and he does very nicely on that. And now it is that ball that is lying second, and he's got at least two here. And they're going to see if maybe it's a third.
Yeah, so even though that end, wasn't going to change the result of the first set, it's still meaningful in terms of shots for and against, and they both played it sort of like it was meaningful. So
I think it's this one off to the side that is the difference at the moment. And indeed, that is the one that they are measuring against. And they call it three for Pat Bird. So he finishes, even though he loses the first set, he finishes strong with a three. And the first set still goes to Alan Wasp, but by a much more closer score, 8-5. Well, actually, they're bringing in the umpire. They brought in the umpire for this. I mistook Alan's hand gesture for concession, but no, he called the umpire in for this.
it's always good to let the umpire get a bit of measuring practice in. Around the other greens, Hings had a really good last end. He picked up a three, and the score's now 5-4 with they're playing the final end. Uh, Mike McNaughton won the first set of his match against Daryl Hanoski. Jerome is leading Michael O'Connor is leading 6-2 against Jerome in the second set. They split the first set. And they're just playing the first end in Jim Doherty and David Llewellyn. Jim won the first set in nil-all.
And the umpire is taking a really close look at this. This is kind of interesting because most of the time when we see the umpires called in, we're talking about really, really tight bowls where they have to bring in the calipers. And with- here, there's at least 6 inches on each side between that bowl and the jack. So, and they did score three in the end. So indeed, the the set will end 8-5 in favor of Alan Weiss, but Pat Bird picking up three in that final end of the first set, setting himself up in a good position to start again here in the second set to come back in this match.
Yeah, and you can never sort of misplace the value of picking up shots and giving yourself a bit of confidence going into that second set. Plus, those shots could be meaningful for differential.
And certainly with bowlers of this caliber, you would not be surprised to see Pat turn it around here and force the extra ends.
For sure.
Just a reminder that we will have men's quarterfinal action coming up for you later this afternoon. Depends a lot on the finish time of this round, but tentatively looking to be around somewhere between 4:30 and 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. It would be between well, 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. for you folks in Eastern Canada.
Yeah, so Pat continuing on his good form from that previous end, drawing nice and close. Nice shot from Allen, but still Pat's holding shot.
Bird still appearing to hold one.
And the match between Earl and Heng, um, Earl managed to knock one of two shots Heng was holding out, and they've split that first set.
And the back pull there for Pat Bird.
Yeah, it's not a bad position. Allen could always We'll be looking to move that, Jack.
And just to the outside, but and an opportunity for Pat Bird to open up an early lead here in the second set. And this is looking good from Pat, and that's beautiful. That's the Pat Bird we know.
Yep, lovely bowl.
And that'll be 2 for Pat Bird as he opens up a lead here in the second set on the first end as he tries to come back in this match.
Yep, Pat will just be saying, what first set? What are you talking about? We're playing. All that matters now is the second set, and I'm 2-0 up.
And Pat not hesitating, going pretty much as close to coast as you can go here on this rink. Is Jack just a couple of inches in front of the tee. Playing towards the back, midway between the tee and the ditch.
It's interesting to note the variance between the different matches in terms of where they are. Um, Currently, Jerome and Michael are playing the final end of their second set. Michael's leading 7-3, so Jerome needs a full house to take it to a tiebreaker. Anyways,
Pat
well,
King
actually,
is
yes, they split the first.
Pat Bird is trying his best right now to force a tiebreaker here. That's a nice shot.
Yeah, near perfect position there from Pat.
Well, he certainly likes this length right now.
Trying hard here. It's all in the weight for Alan. It's very
This
close.
this is a very nice shot from Alan Wass. It's enough. It's a toucher, and as a toucher, it is. Yep, he Alan Wass is definitely holding now, according to the marker. And now both bowlers are going to have a look at this one.
Across in Mike McNaughton versus Daryl Hanoski. It's 2-all after 2 ends in the second set. Mike won the first. And Michael O'Connor has defeated Jerome Kirby in their match. Split the first set and Michael won the second set 8-3.
This is a pretty important shot by Pat Bird here. It's generally wants to ensure that a lot of the good work he's done in this end doesn't go for naught. It doesn't have the line, unfortunately.
Just left it a little short and a little narrow, but it's if you have had the weight on that, that might have been useful. But yeah, one for Alan, and this is Alan. Like I think many people would leave this head and just declare. I'm not sure if Alan will. I think he. The thing with Alan is he has the confidence that he can make these shots.
Exactly. So let's see how big of a risk he's willing to take here. This one's going to pull up a little short. Not quite the intent that we normally see, but in the end, does the job. He'll take one away and cut into Pat Bird's lead here.
On some of the other greens, Jim Tahoki after winning the first set, is tied 1-all with David Llewellyn after 2 ends. Nathan versus Gerald. Nathan is leading 4-2 after 4 ends. He took first set. And Hing is leading 2-0 after 1 end. And they split the first set and it's 2-all. Mike McNaughton and Daryl Hanoski after 2 ends. First set to Mike. that is just typical Pat. He's always in there or thereabouts. And if it's typical Alan, he's just going to come in and try and either outdraw that or sit on top of it.
I would not be surprised if he tried to outdraw him. And almost does. You can certainly see Pat Bird finding his form right now. The first three ends of this set, uh, Bird has just been superb on the draw.
Yeah, Alan's he's got he's got space there to draw. Like this is in his wheelhouse. I'm not sure if he's given this one enough. Yeah, Alan just weighing up the options here. He's got the option of just sticking to that draw, trying to come around those last two bowls. Um, there is room there. He can go wider and break into that head. The other option is to come the other hand and just try and nudge his green bowl there into the head.
The draw to the left side seems to be the the high percentage shot in this case.
Yeah, I think, they've both been coming down that side. It's a known quantity.
Just too much weight burns past the head.
Yeah, I just think he was overthinking that one a little.
And this is a free shot now for Pat Bird. Already holding two by the looks of things. Chance to add a third. And will it be? Maybe. Maybe he's got three. I mean, they waste no time in making that determination. It's just a question of what they put on the board. But either way, an important winning end for Pat Bird here in the third.
Yeah, so I suspect it was the three, but let's have a look. Yep.
So 5-1 for Pat King here after three complete ends. And, you know, some of these matches you're surprised by turnarounds, but I can't say that's the case here.
No, I think this is what we expected. We thought, yeah, Pat's just too good a bowler to sort of be too worried by losing a set. He's always going to come back into it.
And this one to the back. I mean, once again, so far in this second set, it's not as though Alan Haas is bowling poorly. It's just a case of the precision needed here is just so extreme at times.
Yeah, I think it's just a sort of simple case of Pat Bird doing Pat Bird things, and it's another beautiful bowl because it hasn't created any more of a target. He's only one and probably 1/4 of a bowl wide there, and it's got a nice safe second shot.
So three bowls from Alan Ross, all a little bit heavy.
Yeah, and I think the situation is probably that, especially with that last one, he was probably just trying to get in there and sit on one of Pat's bowls. But yeah, he needs to make the adjustment, get himself back in this set.
It is a shot that is still available to him, but first, Pat Bird will have his final say over proceedings here in this end.
Missed the finish, but it looks as though it's all wrapped up with Gerald versus Nathan. And when I last checked, Nathan had won the first set and was ahead. So I'm presuming Nathan's won that one. Jim Tahoki, after winning the first set, is trailing David Llewellyn now. After four ends, David's up, just waiting for Jim to get out of the way. David is leading 4-1 after four ends.
And it's a little bit interesting seeing some of the games wrap up so quickly here. Um, this one's only in the fourth end of the second set, but it is not There are other matches that are in similar spots, so it's not like we're the slowpokes of the greens.
Well, I think, yeah, I mean, traditionally, sort of, yeah, Alan, because he asks a lot of questions and likes to visit the head, his matches can go longer. Um, but yeah, there's a couple of matches that are in more or less the same spot as they are at the moment. So yeah, it's the final round. It's worth taking your time.
So will the fourth time be the charm? No. It's once again, Pat Bird will take another end. This time looks to be for two. We'll just wait for confirmation, but Pat Bird has had the said he had the final say of the end. Well, so far he's had the biggest say in this set so far.
Yeah, and it is a complete sort of flip around of what happened in the first set, and this set Pat's the one dominating. So, um, like sort of Pat tried to drag itself back into the first set. Alan needs to do the same here, even if he doesn't win the set. You need to start sort of picking up ends to give yourself that bit of confidence if and when they go into the tiebreaker.
All said, these are players who are certainly not unaccustomed to pressure situations such as extra ends.
Yeah, no, I think Alan pulled out a tiebreaker win over Hing the other night.
And these are players that play a lot of high end tournaments year in and year out. But there's only one opportunity to go to the World Indoor Championships, and this is it. And they want to make it count.
It's a reasonable starter from Pat, but by his own sort of high standards, it's a little bit deeper than he would have liked.
For him, a simple adjustment, as Alan will be looking to make a similar adjustment, just a little heavier next time. So the indication from the marker is that Alan Wass's green bull is holding at the moment.
Yeah, I doubt if that's going to be the shot by the end of this end, but who knows? Alan tried to get it just a little further on with this one, see if he can do that.
And this one's going to be a little better. Well, by an inch or two.
I think Meryl must have heard us talking earlier because I think she just told Pat that he was 1.5 down. So my
Okay.
half shot theory is coming into reality.
Of course, a single shot here can remove all doubt.
Trying hard here.
Lots of weight.
If he gets it, it's all
Oh,
good.
oh, that is a perfect bump and roll. One shot that changes the whole complexion of this end.
Yeah, it's a tough head now. It's very tough to work out the best possible shot here. I think Alan may just try and play a little bit of weight at it and just change the situation. Turn it into a one bowl shootout if he can get the jack to spray.
This one's drifting far and no dice for Alan.
It, it really did give it a good go though. Like
And may have cut it down to two from three. We'll see a bit later. Still two shots to be played.
cross in the match between Jim DeHoki and David Llewellyn. David's leading 4-3 after 5 ends. Jim won the first set. So you're heading to the back, or is it just a draw? It's just a draw.
And it's a delicate draw that will score.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's where he would have wanted it to finish. It does give Alan a little more of a chance here to come off that into onto the jack.
Yeah, there is certainly room for a straight draw, and if anyone can make this shot, it's Alan Watts.
Yep. This is very much the type of shot Alan loves to play. So uh, you don't want to have to play it, but it's certainly something that he does well.
It is a have to play it situation, though, with the score 7-1. Alan really does need points here in this fifth end.
Just go with the weight option.
Yeah, no finesse with this one. It's going to break things up. And he does it. He does it. What a shot from Alan Watts. Absolutely phenomenal. As not only does he connect, he gets the roll and the points. Phenomenal stuff.
Yeah, I think we may have to check for a remote control sort of event there. That was too good to be true. It's lovely work from Alan. So he keeps himself in the set.
As he finishes the fifth end in style with a pair and that is a really hard pair or hard pair to come by.
Yeah, I don't think there would have been sort of great odds on him picking up a two from that situation that he was in. So he's made the best out of a bad situation, gets himself back up, and now he's just got to say, hey, let's see if I can pick up a couple on this one, and let's see what happens on the final end. Across in the match between Mike McNaughton and Darryl Hanoski, it is 5-all after 5 ends. Mike won the first set. Hingley's in a really good position against Earl Luck. He is leading 6-1 after 5 ends. They split the first set, so Hing's looking pretty good. Yes, Hurlin's brought the mat up and he's shortened this up in order to really try and make something, you know, make a change.
Again, right to the jack, and won't complete the flop for the toucher by the looks of it. Oh, an excellent response from Alan.
You can see the reason why these two are 1 and 2 in their group.
It's two great bowlers saving the best for last.
And again,
The one-upsmanship is on.
yeah, whatever you can do, I can do better. Let's see if Alan can keep it going.
Possibly. Nope. Just cuts a little too much. So, Pat, just wondering if, first of all, if any of his bowls were behind the jack. And as you can see here, the second bowl, his second blue bowl, is behind the jack. And he wanted to know if it was entirely behind the jack, and it is.
Yeah, I think the only question he didn't ask was, how the ball was feeling, and
And on that note, he will send one right to the back.
yeah, but I don't think that's a bad spot at all. Just Alan's going to obviously come in with, he's not going to come in with weight, but it'll be sort of slightly overweight, trying to push that jack back and follow it to try and at least pick up a two to give himself the chance of splitting the set and taking the game.
And even looking at the shot right now, okay, so it is an open draw, but what a difficult open draw this is. There, there is a slew of things that can go wrong here.
Yeah, so there's nothing to lose for Alan though. Like, he's well down, so if he can pick up a two from this,
Coming with a lot of heat here. Oh, he takes the jack and takes it to the ditch. And oh my. Last two ends, it's like the circus has come to town.
yeah. So at least he's followed it in. He sent the other one unfortunately out. Um,
So discussing here. Yes, unfortunately, both bowls are burned.
so
Yes.
yeah,
So what happened there was that the bowl that was the toucher was the one that went off the rink
right.
in the on the left-hand side, and the bowl he connected with ended up in the ditch, and that one is dead. And of course, where it is marked right now is where the jack is at this time over on your right-hand side. So at the moment, it is Pat Bird holding that with that one bowl, and we'll just point it out right here. And here's the jack. And it'll be Pat Bird taking the end by the looks of it. But yeah, courageous and exciting stuff from Alan Wass on that shot.
Yeah, interesting that Pat didn't take the extra shot.
The umpire is having a word now with Pat, but everything seems to be okay as he delivers the jack to start the seventh end. And it is 3 to Pat Bird. So we are indeed going to a tiebreaker in this one. We will play out the seventh end, however, for the sake of point differential. But one of the things that we are certainly seeing as they go head towards these extra ends is that both these bowlers are now in the best form they've been in this match.
Yeah, and we've seen that every match we've covered today is that they just keep on getting better and better as they go through. So it's a little bit of a looser end here, but I think that's pretty natural with it being, a dead end. You still do want to improve the differential, but you know, your head's probably already in that in the tiebreaker.
Certainly, though, there's a desire to keep that form that you've had going. Let's even even seeing these guys play in a blowout game, they still want to win every shot and to win every end, no matter what the score is.
Yeah, it really can be meaningful in terms of the overall standings.
Well, Moss did well to get in between that bull and the jack, and is currently holding. See if he can add to it with his final bowl of the seventh end. And right on the jack. Beautiful toucher. And what a great way to end two really entertaining sets as we set up for some extra bowls here.
So two for Alan. At least improves the differential a little bit.
And we said at the start of this broadcast that on paper, this could be very well the best match of the day, and it's certainly shaping up that way, especially on a day where we've had some really excellent matches. So they'll play a best of three extra ends. First player to win two ends will win the match. And serious implications as first place in the group is on the line. Both players leaving the green momentarily just to take a short break before entering the extra ends. That gives us an opportunity to remind you that we're coming back your way quite soon. So we were looking at 4 o'clock. I think we're probably looking more at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time today, where we will bring you the quarterfinals of this men's Canadian Indoor Qualifier. And then, of course, you can join us tomorrow morning. We will be up bright and early with the birds. We will be on air at about 9 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow for the semifinals of both the men's and women's and tournament. And also, we will have for you live the women's final at 11 o'clock a.m. 11 o'clock a.m. Pacific time. And then in the afternoon, we will have the men's final for you as well as we determine who gets to represent Canada at the World Indoor Championships in 2026.
Yeah, and well done in terms of how they've organised this tournament so that we actually get to cover both finals. So that it's not two finals at the same time. That's something that never seems to be done. And so that's fantastic. Both finals can get the the coverage that they deserve. In other matches, it looks like Jinder Hoki has won his match. He was down 5-3 on the final end. I heard a large drive happening, as Jim does, and it looks like it worked. He must have picked up at least two because they seem to have shaken hands and gone on. Looks like it's a tiebreaker in Mike McNaughton and Daryl Hanowski's match as well.
Yep, there are only two matches on the greens at the moment here at PIBC, and both are in tiebreakers. We are just waiting for our bowlers to return to the greens in order to see who will advance. They also have the advantage that because this match is now going into extra ends, they don't have to worry too much. They don't have to worry at all about the time limit that was imposed as well. So
Yeah, I noticed we just got some feedback there, suggesting that Alan's toucher was the one that went into the ditch. Like that was my initial impression, was that his toucher was the one that it followed.
it was mine as well.
Yeah, yeah, and so like I have noticed a couple of people giving some feedback saying that that they thought that, and that's why the umpire came down because the umpires thought that that was the toucher as well. Yeah, yeah. So an interesting one there. I mean, I think that would have only represented one shot for Alan, so would have been tough on that final end to have changed that.
I know that once this YouTube broadcast is over, we know there will be a section that will be played over and over and over again by many of our viewers. So, you know, that being said, our bowlers are back as Pat Bird throws the jack and gets us back underway as we will have some extra ends to determine who the winner of this group is. And they'll open this extra end with a long jack, meter in front of the tee. And pretty much all eyes in this all eyes in this club right now are riveted to this match. And as they should be, because this has been one of the more compelling matches of the day.
Yeah, so reasonable start by both bowlers, but I just feel like the way they've been playing that both of them are going to get closer than these two bowls.
And some consistency there from Pat. Are indicating how far those holes are behind the jack.
And you know, there's plenty of room there still to draw.
And Alan Ross finds the draw and finds all that space behind the jack. Roughly cutting the difference between that sort of half meter behind the jack.
Okay, let's see what Pat does here, whether he draws or just plays with a little bit of weight to move it. Just drawing. He'll be looking to sort of cut the difference in between this one and the jack.
And the third shot of the extra end. And a nice draw just in front of the jack. And Alan Moss is can't always say someone's in the driver's seat here in an extra end, but Alan's in a great position right now.
So across in the other match, it's looking like they're in the second end of the tiebreaker. And Mike McNaughton is 1-0 up after one end.
And Pat Bird about to deliver his final bowl of this first extra end. Bird is down two. And this is going to be short. And Alan Wass was going to take the first of the extra ends here and is now in a position where he could possibly take the entire match here. So nothing fancy, nothing complicated there, Shane. It was just a straight draw game, and Alan Wass just outdrew Pat Bird in that first extra end.
Yeah, I'll just have to sort of see. You feel like the way this match has gone, you'd be surprised if it doesn't go to the third.
Mhm.
And you'd be surprised if Pat doesn't pull out something on this end to push them to the final end.
And it's not the deepest jack that Alan Wass has thrown today, but still about a meter and a half above the tee.
It's a reasonable start, but in the context of this match, it's probably going to end up being the fourth or fifth shot.
The back ball for Bird.
Yeah, it's not necessarily wasted that one. It's the way these guys have been playing. You could imagine the jack getting moved. Yeah, just wanting to add on a couple of feet to his previous. Well, he's had a couple of inches instead, but it's still an improvement.
Pat Bird needs to win this set to keep the match going. It's the second extra end, and this would be short.
Yeah, so in an ideal world, Alan would like to have something just in behind the jack. He's not looking fully convinced by this one, but he's following it down. It's looking reasonably good.
Once again, surrounding the jack. Not particularly close. The room is there, but the also plenty of room to take advantage of any jack that gets hit.
Yeah, it just feels like there's so much room there for two guys this good um, that one of them's got to get one on the jack eventually.
Bird owns the tee.
Looks like Mike McNaughton. Looks like he took the second end of the tiebreaker there. So uh, he takes out that tiebreaker 2-0.
Mike McNaughton, of course, the defending champion on the men's side in this tournament.
And I think that also means Mike is the only player to go through unbeaten on the men's side.
Alan Moss is having a good long look at this head prior to determining what his final course of action this end will be.
He was staring at that end like a long lost lover. He's, he just really, he's been pretty accurate with his line so far. I think he just needs to adjust that weight a little and get something right in on that jack and put the pressure on Pat.
And this one will join Bird's bowl at the back. Looking at it, there's really no secret here as to what the intent is.
Yeah, if you're Alan here, do you watch? Do you close your eyes? Do you turn around? He's very casually taken a seat in the front row he's spectating now.
Chatting with some of his friends and spectators. But right now, all eyes on Pat Bird for his final bowl of this end. Pat must draw to the jack and be holding to drive this to a final extra end. striking it,
Nice. So
and it's
it's
trying,
done
and
it.
it's looking really good. And that appears to have done it. And we're going one more time.
No surprise.
It was an open draw for Pat Bird, and you know, in a pressure situation, and that was clutch. And no surprise whatsoever. We are going the max here.
Uh, this match deserved it. It's sort of like it's been that kind of one player dominating the other player coming back kind of a match. Yeah, I think these two have both played superbly.
All we can say is turn it to 11.
Yeah, we've turned it to 11. We've got the extra cowbells have been brought in. Yeah, so it's looking, if I'm reading this correctly, I think it's looking like whoever loses is still pretty safe to go through to the quarterfinals. Winner, of course, will go straight to the semi-final.
And you couldn't blame anyone for wanting the bye after this one. There is no easy match in this tournament.
Yeah, I think I'd want a cup of tea and a lie down for sure.
And that's a how do you do from Pat Bird.
Yeah, that's just showing off. But Alan loves this stuff. Like he loves a challenge like this, and he's 100% good enough to make an equivalent shot.
And going for power right off the top. Let's see if Alan does it. Oh, and he that picture perfect. An insane direct hit on that bull.
This patch is going to put it right back where he had it. Let's have a look.
Not quite, but certainly close enough. And softer delivery, taken over the back.
Yeah, at least that gives him another option if later in the end he wants to play some weight. He's got something to play to. We've still got that other bowl in the ditch that could still come into play.
Yes, the afterthought of that first shot from Alan Loss is that The bull that he did, that the catbird bull that he knocked into the ditch is still alive, as of course it was a toucher.
Yes, the interesting sort of thing here is like, okay, so Alan, with that second shot, played it on the forehand. There is a little more room on the backhand. It's a little more open there. Um, with that jack having been moved just that little bit. But it's whether it's open or not just depends on whether Alan feels that he's playing the backhand as well as the forehand. So looks like he's sticking with the forehand. Heavy again. Is it going to stay enough?
Pat's going to have a look at this. It appears that he is holding, but we have no indication of that at the moment.
Oh, he looked a couple of times, so it must be reasonably close.
Do have a better angle of this that we're going to get you in just a second. It's a little grainy, but this is the state of the head right now, and that is close.
It's really close.
Catbirds final bowl of what has been an astonishing match.
Let's see what he can do. It's coming in nicely. I think
And
this is it. This is the
that's
shot.
that's going to draw right in there. And now all the pressure is on Alan Wass. No doubt right now who's holding.
Yeah, so yeah, Alan's just got to make the decision between does he just play onto that bowl, and then naturally his bowl should go onto the jack, get some movement of the jack, which is good for him unless it goes too far, or does he draw on the backhand?
The backhand draw would seem to be maybe the higher percentage shot on this, but Alan's capable of so much that whatever he visualizes here, he make happen.
Well, he's very good at sort of hitting and staying. I think he's going to take that option and try and knock Pats out and stay. And if he happens to move a jacket a little, it's probably good for him.
Final shot of the match. He's running along with it. And it's
Just
coming in. He's going to, oh, it just misses. And it will be Pat Bird who takes first place in the group. And what a spectacular match and what an effort from Alan Wass. And Two great gentlemen of the game shaking hands at the end, and no one here could be happier than, other than Pat Bird, everyone here who got to see this match. Just absolute fabulous stuff from these guys.
Yeah, that was really the match that, we sort of expected it would go like that. If one player was going to dominate, the other guy was going to come back. It was probably always likely to go to a tiebreaker, and they gave us one hell of a tiebreaker. So yeah, they, you know, uh, Pat's earned his break. He gets to rest. Alan has to come out and play another great player in a quarterfinal, but still alive, I think. So still plenty to play for. Just need to calm yourself down and get ready for the next match.
So Pat Bird comes out victorious here in this final group stage match. The quarterfinal field is set, and we are going to have a looks looks to be a pretty quick turnaround here. Originally we were scheduled for a quarterfinal around 4:30 p.m. today. I think it's probably going to be at some point between 4:30 p.m. and 5 p.m. So sometime between maybe in the next, I would say at least half hour to 15 minutes from now. We will have quarterfinal action for you live here on the Bulls Canada YouTube channel. So you will have to log out of this live stream, and we will have the new live stream for the quarterfinal set up for you quite shortly. So I hope you'll tune in to us for that. It's just been an excellent day of Bulls, and I hope that you'll join us for some more this evening. My name is Bill Curry. For Shane O'Flaherty, want to thank you for joining us, and that is it from PIBC in Vancouver.